Hello everybody and welcome to Restoration Docs. Today we are going to be working on this 1960 Impala power steering. I have the cylinder rebuild kit, still waiting on the valve rebuild kit right there. Got one side of the shocks, still waiting on the other. I got the rear shocks, we'll be installing them today. And then hopefully soon I can get a brake disc conversion kit for this. Make it a little bit safer, be on the road and everything. So, yep. Let's get started. Alright. We're going to be taking this castle nut off first. Trying to figure out. And then we got two power steering lines connected to the valve right here. And we're going to be taking off. Some tools. Alright. Of course, if you don't already know, a pickle fork right here. If you don't know what a pickle fork is, now you need to figure it out, because it is one of the handiest tools that a mechanic can ever own when dealing with steering components. We are moving. Let's get this cotter pin out of here. And I don't think this cotter pin has ever moved in 65 years, so we'll hopefully be able to get it. I soaked this thing in penetrating oil for a long time. Come on, baby. There we go. The thing's pretty rusty. Pretty rusty. It's been in there for probably 65 years or better. Alright, let's see if I can't get this nut off now. Make sure your ratchet's going the right way. Like it's nothing. And most of the time on rusty cars, you don't want to put too much force in them unless you soak them in penetrating oil or you give them some heat. But I'm glad it's breaking free pretty easy. And that doesn't look too bad. Probably savable. Now comes the tricky part. None of this is really attached. I just have it mocked up, except for the power steering arm and the sway bar and the arm stabilizer right here. But let's see if she comes free in a couple of hits. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Come on. note that this is not the proper way to do this. But she has been in there for a very, very long time. That's not the part that I wanted to come loose, but I guess we'll just have to bring this over to the table and try to separate it there. Because I don't think this is going to work. Alright, we brought this over to the table. Now let's see if we can't get this freed up. Make sure not to crush the tube. I really don't feel like buying a new tube. So we want to set it kind of there. Let it just hit everything. And then while we're waiting, go ahead and free up these lines right there. Okay, so just for reference, they are 7/16. And they probably haven't been taken off either. Or if they have, it's been a very, very long time. And a bit more. She doesn't want to break free. There we go. There's one. Here's two. I really need to invest in some opening and ratcheting wrenches. If you haven't seen them, gear wrench makes a pretty decent pair. My uncle's got some and it's pretty nice. Alright, there's our hoses disconnected. And that's still pretty wobbly. Let's see if I can re-secure that just a smidge. Got our pickle fork back over here. See if we can't do some breaking free. Break free. Sometimes if you hit on the solid part of the bar, it'd free up, but I think this is just spinning. Cut it down just a smidge more. Try not to go too tight because this is where the power steering flows in and out, and I don't want to mess those threads up. we go. She is free from her. And we'll leave this disconnected because we still are waiting on this valve kit. And I'll show you where I got all my parts and stuff from. But yeah. Alright, well, we got our cylinder kit right there, and y'all can see that's the part number. Right there is your rebuild and mounting kit, and I got this off of classicindustries.com. I get most of my parts from there anyway, at least for this I have. So let's start cracking this thing apart and seeing what all we can do. So we've got a new shoe, grease fitting shoe in this kit, which probably was due. Let's go ahead and see. I think I need a wrench. Alright, we got some pipe wrench pliers here. Let's see if we can't break this loose and try not to break it in the process. Let's see, right here. Does look like it comes off there. Maybe I'm missing something. Let's see if I can. Look at this. Dropping everything. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some research. I'll be right back. Okay, so after a quick little YouTube research moment right there, right in here, the snap ring. Whenever you look in the kit, you got this snap ring right there that it just folds into. You got this at the very bottom, go in with it first. Then you put the washer, it's right here, in first, or in after that. When you put the washer in, then you put this little leather seal in there. Don't know why it's leather, but it is. And you go in with this little copper ring before you put your snap ring in. Put something down the hole. You can compress the whole seal in, and then that's how you rebuild them. Alright, let's get started. Let's get in here. Switch these to run opposite. Why are you not working? Come on. Quit being difficult. Okay, let's see if I got some different types. Don't have different pliers, but I got some tweezers here that may work. Yeah, nope, those ain't working. Alright. All those fails, pick it out. Okay, found me some actual snap ring pliers that aren't junk. So let's switch these to where they actually need to be. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Come on, line up. No, you want to. There we go. Make sure not to shoot that off into space. Double check that our snap ring lines up with the new one. Looks like it does. You always want to double check your parts. Make sure that they are right size and do line up. Just take you a pick around the edges of this washers and just try to push or finagle its way back around to where you can get a hold of it. This thing is being really difficult. Does not want to come out. In the video, it just showed how it was putting it together. It didn't show how he got them out. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too stupid. Maybe flipping it upside down. There we go. Yeah, just don't be stupid. That's how you do it. Get your copper ring out of there. Pick around on that old seal just a smidge. Ooh, yeah, that old leather seal is not the best. Kind of just keep picking around on it. Because this is the part that actually seals, so it's a little bit harder to get out. This isn't just a stupid thing, this is something you gotta actually do. Do that or just start ripping it apart. Either way works. No matter how you get it out, as long as you get it out, right? Here we go. The old nasty leather seal is out. Out comes your silver washer. And it looks like she is rusted in there. Don't think she's going to be coming out with just what I've been doing. Nope, that was wrong. Just needed to do some more wiggling. Eventually, she comes out. There she went. Notice that there's two little stamps on these. That I would assume would go up. Of course, you've got your main seal at the very bottom of the shaft. Just kind of do the same thing, work your pick around a little bit. Pick and pry, pick and pry. This one's been in here for a while, so She is quite stubborn. And this is a much, much cheaper way to go about it than going and getting a new one. This kit I bought, I think it was like 60 bucks, maybe. Alright. There shouldn't be anything else at the bottom. And there you go. And you just go into the reverse order. Of how you been going. So now I'll take the new one. Make sure those 4 dots right there facing up towards the outer of the shaft. It's gonna be a little tough going on there, but kind of just gotta force her down in there. Lock her back in the vise real quick. Just push her back down. Try to make it as even as possible. The guy in the video had a really long pipe. That was the right diameter that just fit over, and he just hammered it down on there. Me, I have a pick and a little hammer. Not the proper way to go about it, but there's never a wrong way. It's just the proper and improper. Make sure she is down all the way around. Double check, make sure you didn't rip anything out. You can still move your cylinder up and down. Then you go in with your little metal washer. There should have been. I guess that was just oil, but there's kind of a sharp part, not really sharp, but more sharp, a sharp edge, not rounded. I'm going with the rounded end up, just in case it doesn't shield properly. It should just slide right down in there. And you go in with your new leather seal. Slide it over the shaft. Kind of have to do some forcing. There we go. And same thing. Grab whatever implement you have available. Just kind of work your way around, getting that seal down in there. It's kind of difficult getting out, so it should be kind of difficult getting back in. So that's good. That's what we want. You don't want to put too much pressure on it because it's going to dent it a little bit. But overall, shouldn't be that bad. Should be able to work it up and down still. Put your new copper fitting in there. Make sure that lip right there is facing upward. Slide it down over. Go down in there. Don't drop your pick. Just kind of, work your way around with it. We'll make sure that this rim is cleared out where that snap ring is going to sit. And you put your new snap ring on. You can use your old one if you don't have one. Snap rings normally don't go bad unless you snap them. But we'll use the new one since we got one. Take your snap ring pliers, squeeze them down. As you're squeezing, you might need to push one end down over, get it to lock in. And there you go. That's how you successfully reseal power steering cylinder on a 1960 model Chevy Color. Now back in the day, most of them were the same, so if you buy one seal kit from Classic Industries, it's probably going to be the same one for most. But it's sealing pretty good. I can hear it whistling through both holes. That sounds like it's sealing pretty good. So we'll call that a win. Now we'll put new boot on. Make sure there's nothing getting in the way. Shouldn't be. New boot will just slide on there. Gotta force it a little bit, but maybe this is a boot. Yeah. No. Well. Maybe it is. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay. Well, I just have to reuse this one. That's something you might run into if you get a little overzealous. But then you got all your mounting hardware here. Should just be one side goes in where your mounting bracket is, goes over these threads. Then you go over your mounting bracket and that comes in on the other side. And it just squishes these two bearings together, or these two bushings together. Comes with new nut. a new thread lock nut, whatever you want to call this. But there you go. Alright everybody, we're going to be installing this front shock from Monner. I don't know. I got it from Classic Industries. There's part number right there. They have different styles and selection of shock absorbers and everything for these style cars. But your shock, your front ones should look like this. Got this little stepped thing at the bottom, and then they kind of just recess up into this hole right in there, kind of go through your spring and everything right there, and they should be on the bottom of your lower control arms. Those two little holes right there have nuts welded into them, so you just want to take your 1/2-inch bolts, thread those back up in there. Now, pretty simple. Let's install this and I'll get back to you. Alright, we got that front shock installed. Should be pretty much about that, sticking up. As you can see, it's going to be angled a little bit per what your spring is. See, the bottom of the shock is all mounted up. It's only 2 bolts. Not too bad. Now let's go around to the rear and start looking at what we need to do to install these rear shocks. Because I have both of them. As you can see, these are a little rusty. Old. They're old air shocks. They've got tons of probably wear and tear on them. They're at their max limit. Those bushings right there are just gone. So let's get these replaced. Should just be 2 bolts on top. 1 bolt holding into the frame. Stud bolt right there. Not too terrible, but still a pain. Alright, I'll be back when I get these installed. Alright, so I got this side installed. Kind of a little bit better. Not quite the same. That's what the other side looks like that I haven't quite got to yet, but side by side comparison. I did on this upper part have to twist these prongs right here on this other one, twist them to where they would match up with the mounting surface up there, and just regular pair of pliers. Get the bottom part installed first, get it up in there, twist it. Not that hard, but figured I'd let y'all know. But let's get this other side done, and that'll be it for today. Alright, we got both of our new shocks installed. Forgot to mention, this is the part number if you want to find those specific shocks. They're not air shocks like those, they're just the regular static fluid shocks. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. If you like it, hit that subscribe button, comment, what do you think I should do on this? And until next time, have a good one.